Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show today. President Trump and Mike Johnson just scored a huge win in helping to expose and capture the fraudulent voting systems across the country. This is so important. The Democrats and how they've gotten more votes of all places were targeting the blue cities, the blue states. In California, they have found thousands of records of people from all over the world, living in Pakistan and all other places, still voting somehow in the California elections. Now it makes sense whenever they're still counting votes a month after the elections have been completed. This is happening in all the blue states, and now we have evidence that has come out from local authorities showing how many people from other countries are still voting in our elections. And not only that, more representatives, I'm telling you guys, we're shining the light on the corruption, and this is beautiful. More representatives are coming out saying that top Democratic leaderships are trying to score backroom deals with Republicans and leaving everyone else out and being told to just go along with whatever Schumer says. You tell me, is this the constitutional republic that America's supposed to be, where one guy basically gets whatever he wants and then everybody else has to agree? No. Everything that we're going to show you today, we've got huge receipts. I love it. So much wins today, guys. This is amazing. I'm already so excited. If you're excited already, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is major wins, everybody. Because Indiana Governor Mike Braun just called a special session of the legislature to redistrict the state of Indiana for the 2026 midterms. And they are seeking to add 2 more seats to the MAGA side. I'm telling you, red wave is coming. Put it in the chat, everybody. Put it in the comments. Hashtag red wave. We also have it where, again, I'm telling you guys, this whole Mamdani thing, New York, there's something fishy about it. You got a guy from Uganda who comes to New York, now wants to give everybody free, tax the billionaires like crazy. Well, guess what? Congressman Randy Fine has officially started the denaturalization process of Zohran Mamdani so that he may be deported. This is nuts. Along with foreigners who might have fraudulently became citizens. Now we have an official congressman starting the denaturalization of a candidate in New York who is wanting to bring socialism to New York. And again, remember, one of the biggest cities in the United States, it matters. We've also got it again where San Quinn County Sheriff shows voting records of people from outside the country voting in California elections, including Pakistan and other Middle East countries. He said the online voter registration system is an honor system. You're able to register and cast a vote even if you don't live in the country. He said anybody can put information in there to register to vote. All you have to do is click a box and say you're not lying, and then all of a sudden you're on the voter rolls, and anytime an election comes around, guess what? You get a mailed-in ballot. Well, guess what? Thanks to Harmeen Dillon, we are stopping that. The Assistant Attorney General has started the investigation. We're going after every single one of these instances because this is how they steal elections. This is how they rig elections. They say it's not happening, and then they do it anyway. Now we've caught them. Thousands of votes, guys. All this adds up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because I'm sick and tired of these Democrats lying through their teeth, saying that this never happens, saying that this is only in our dreams, and yet we continue to find instance after instance it does exist. And not only that, the Democrats want to sit down in closed rooms, negotiate, no cameras, no people besides the top leadership, and they want, and what we are hearing is they are trying to cut deals for their lobbyist buddies, and America is tired of this. And Tim Burchett, our representative out of Tennessee, has come out and said the quiet part out loud. No more of this. He said, every one of my friends is telling me lobbyists are infiltrating like crazy, trying to control these sitting congressional leaders with money. Lobbyists should be banned. There's no reason that our representatives should be getting a dime from people, from corporations, from businesses to control our country. This is the corruption that we are finding, everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm fired up today because I like exposing the fraud and the corruption, and we've got so many receipts to show you today. This is huge. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers and members. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not a part of the family yet, please hit that subscribe button. Let us serve you every day with the breaking news. I want to give some special love to all those that are members of the channel, those that have given. Such special love to OG of the channel, our boy, Mr. Tracy J. Norby. Give him some love in the chat, as well as Pretty Butterfly. Thank you so much, Glow, for your support. Show Glow and Mr. Norby some love in the chat. And remember, on the 22nd of every single month, when you're donating live on stream, when you donate through a super chat or a membership, we donate live on stream to a local children's home. We're helping out the innocent, y'all. And we just thank you so much for all your support thus far. If you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button, big stuff is happening. Thank you so much, PDX67, with the super chat. Richard, let's go. Show Richard, PDX67, some love in the chat. Big show today, because now that we're seeing what's happened to the Democrats' money, how much they've lost, no money in the bank, it's all coming back on them. Listen to this.
Kamala bankrupted the whole kingdom. The DNC's still behind on bills. They're still paying off Kamala's debt. Just last week, the DNC tried to throw a fundraiser in San Francisco with Harris as the headliner, and the donors were like, lose this number. One anonymous donor replied with a profanity-laced rejection. Nancy might not be around for long either. Democrats are throwing around the R word.
Retire. Let's
Word
get
is
them
next
out.
month, she's making a big ol' announcement. The Pauly P portfolio had a good run, but good things come to an end. The saying usually goes, mo money, mo problems, but for Democrats, it's no money, more problems. Democrats are so strapped for cash, they won't even take a pay cut in solidarity with bureaucrats.
Some members are voluntarily not taking pay. Are you on board with that?
No.
Where's Bernie? Well, Burn Dogs.
If there's anything that makes me sick is to know that millions of people are not without a paycheck because the dang Congress and Democrats couldn't do their dang job. And yet when you ask them point blank, hey, they're not getting a paycheck. Why do you deserve a paycheck? Will you give it up? And they say, no, I'm not giving my money up. Greedy, greedy, greedy. Get their butts out of there.
Actually trying to make a quick buck during the shutdown. He wrote a book called Fight Oligarchy. How many times have we heard that?
This democracy is evolving into an oligarchy.
We are moving in the direction of oligarchy. This great country is evolving into an oligarchic society. The drift which currently exists toward an oligarchic form of society.
Fighting oligarchy has been Bernie's job for 30 years, and he's still fighting it. That means he hasn't done a very good job. You know who else is fighting a fake enemy for a quick buck? Binder.
We can't behave as if or react to situations per usual. These are unprecedented times. You have to lean in. You have to fight. And these are the things that everyday Americans are asking for. Where are the Democrats? Why are they not fighting?
Binder's DEI revenge tour is getting messy. She's demolishing the Democrat Party like it's the East Wing. Who do you call when you need help blowing stuff up? Hunter. Yesterday, Hunter said he wanted to bust Obama's lip. Now he wants a piece of Clooney.
But what George did, I just thought was a self-sabotaging act of disloyalty, not just to my dad, but to the whole party. That's my opinion, okay? And I think I have a right to be really upset about it.
Let me tell you this, everybody. If I don't love bringing good news to you, I'm telling you what, this is what we voted for. Indiana is set to add 2 more Republican seats to make sure that we have a red wave, baby. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is big, big wins for MAGA. Every single state that can redistrict, no more gerrymandering, no more of this unfair representation to Congress. We're going to make sure that we are 100% doing things in the best way possible for America, MAGA policies, because the fight is so real. Because not only this, the signs will show when you're doing something right, everybody. And right now, you're seeing this. Indiana governor has officially started the special session. We now know that Congressman Randy Fine has officially pushed to start the denaturalization process of Zohran Mamdani, the socialist that is trying to essentially destroy New York with free everything. And then this is when you know that things are being done right. Western Union reports fewer US dollars being sent home by migrants. Oh, so you mean we're starting to make an impact on the money that is going out of our country that's hurting our economy because it's not being spent here. This is what we voted for, everybody. We're bringing the receipts. We're bringing the facts today. I love this because, again, the leftist Democrats, one thing that I hate is they're like, oh, let's get out the criminal illegal aliens, but let's keep everybody that's already here. Of course you want them to be here because they're going to vote for you because you're going to try to give them everything. Nope. Everybody needs to be deported. Trump has just come out and said that he is going to ramp up deportations because now we know that almost 200,000 Americans have applied for ICE positions. 200,000 Americans. Guys, this is a lot. And this is all a huge increase to deport people that shouldn't be here in the first place. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because we are digging in deep. We're sick and tired of the wasteful spending. We're sick and tired of everything that the Democrats are trying to push on us, socialism, communism, and we're fighting it. Listen to this.
Maybe Binder does have a brain. Democrats are 0-2 running women for president. One white, one black. Are they really going to run another woman?
I mean, this is something that a lot of Democrats are grappling with right now. Is they've nominated women 2 of the last 3 elections for the presidency, lost both. There are some who say, well, we can't do that again. The stakes are too high. But of course, that does fall into the same misogynistic trap.
Other countries have no problem electing women.
Well, Democrats have 2 hot governor races in New Jersey and Virginia, and they're running Mickey and Abby. And they're both in trouble, bigly. They both want boys changing in girls' locker rooms and serve up word salads more than Mamala. Once again, the cross-legged messiah has to try to save the ladies. They're going to stuff Barry in a jet from Honolulu and make him fly east to lecture the brothers again. And he's already complaining.
I thought I was going to be able to remove myself more from being out there in public and was going to be able to concentrate on what I really wanted to do, which was coach the next generation of leadership.
Barry's not just bailing out Democrats in the midterms. He's looking ahead to 28. Obama knows they can't run another woman. So he's choosing the next closest thing.
Someone that gets it and gets things done. It's my honor to introduce President Barack Obama.
They think that this Newsom guy is going to be the next president of the United States. No, it's going to be J.D. Vance. Too big to rig. Look at this right here. Trump is I'm telling you, they are literally digging their own graves right now when it comes to the elections. Trump said, what's worse, the NBA players cheating at cards and probably much else are the Democrats cheating on elections. The 2020 presidential election being rigged and stolen is a far bigger scandal. Look what happened to our country when crooked moron became our president. We now know everything. I hope the DOJ pursues this with as much gusto as befitting the biggest scandal in American history. If not, it will happen again, including the upcoming midterms. No mail-in or early voting. Yes to voter ID. Watch how totally dishonest the California prop vote is. I'm telling you what, everybody, we're bringing you the receipts because the biggest state that has the most electoral votes that makes a big deal in our election is the state of California. And now that we know, listen to this. I bring the receipts, everybody. This is mind-blowing, the corruption that we are exposing.
The way the voting system is structured.
This is from a sheriff in California.
We see quite a few flaws. You're able to register even if and cast a vote if you don't live in the country, as evident of his brother in Pakistan. I think we have some evidence of 2 or 3 other people out of the country that have voted. Is that correct?
Yeah, approximately 2 or 3 other people out of the country, as well as people residing outside of the district.
Okay. The online voter registration system, it seems to be an honor system. Anybody can put information in there to register to vote. All you have to do is click a box and say that you're not lying, and then you'll get an email from the Secretary of State or something in the mail saying, thank you for registering to vote. And there you are. Once you're on the voter rolls, anytime an election comes around, guess what? You get mailed a ballot, right? You get mailed something to vote. So we found that a little bit problematic. The way the voting system
You hear this, guys? Again, people outside the district, people in different spaces. It's just mind-blowing that we continue to find all these examples of people voting that aren't supposed to be voting. People are getting fed up with this. And I wanted to show you this because I'm telling you, this is the most corrupt thing that's happening all across the United States. Want to say thank you to everybody that is giving today. Want to give some love to Jog Haas. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. And Starch Manning, I don't agree with you, but thank you so much for your support. Show Starch and Jog Haas some love in the chat. Salt Lake City County Mayor Jenny Wilson proposes a 20% property tax increase on residents to give county employees a raise. In her office, in her mayor's office, she has 3 deputy mayors. One makes $251,000, $203,000, and $198,000. Almost all of the top employees, 100 top employees of the county, make at least $140,000 a year. You tell me this is where the corruption is at. Just continue to tax people and they can't do nothing about it. This is what I hate the most, because these people that are making these multi-6-figure salaries is happening across all the blue states. And all they want to continue to do is pour more of this tax burden on the taxpayer, and we're sick of it. That's why what you're about to hear next is so important. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, I am sick and tired of, again, I'm reporting to you what's actually happening, and people don't get it that, hey, it's all in these blue leftist socialist people. They want to live at a different level than you, but tax you to oblivion every single year.
Allowed all the processing for heavy rare earths to leave this country on Obama's watch. I know that's just random, right? But on Obama's watch, with Biden as vice president, the processing for heavy rare earths and magnets, things like that we need for heavy industrial production, was basically taken apart and shipped because the Chinese Communist parties bought it for like under $1 billion. And how did that happen without having a full review? I don't know. Ask Joe Biden. Wasn't he on the payroll of the Chinese Communist Party, as memory serves me correctly, on the laptop from hell? Yes, the one that the deep state came out and said was Russian misinformation, which they knew was a bald-faced lie. This is why we're calling for, and Tom Fitton said it on the Saturday show, and it's getting some resonance. It's starting to resonate over the weekend, that we need a special prosecutor for all this. You're not going to get to the bottom of the 2020 election. It's just too scattergun. And I keep hearing the reasons. They're just not hiring enough people. I don't know. Part of it may be the government shutdown. I'm sure there's all types of things going on. There's always a million excuses. But we got to get on with it. And a special prosecutor is the only way I know that you can get on with it. And that's your report, as Tom Fitton said, to the White House, to the Oval Office. Yep. Has to happen. It's the only way we're going to get to the bottom of this. And President Trump is, between Argentina and Brazil, and trying to settle the Middle East. If you look at what he's juggling, that no president since FDR in World War II has had to juggle on so many different fronts, with Orban today saying that Viktor Orban, the hero, told the EU he's going to, because one country can block things, he's not going to go along with the stealing of the Russian people's assets. That being said, more than ever, you need to understand why gold is a hedge against times of turbulence and why it's the new rising asset class for central banks and money center banks. The way you do that, you start off with texting Bannon at 989898. The ultimate guide for the last half hour of the show is to destroy America internally. Destroy America internally, and to take our eye off the ball of the central fact that between illegal alien invasions and the scamming of these visa programs, they are overwhelming us with people who are not U.S. citizens, foreigners. This is the Mondami play in New York City. You've got a Ugandan citizen,
He's from Uganda.
Citizen that is only been a citizen, quote unquote, for 6 years, who is a Marxist jihadist. He's not a socialist. He's a Marxist jihadist that has a plan that makes no sense. It doesn't need to make sense because the only point of the revolution is the revolution, according to those guys. And let
me tell you this, everybody. If we don't bring the receipts on why they are doing what they're doing, let me tell you this. This is from the Personal Finance Wizards. You can go check them out, guys. I'm bringing you the facts, the receipts today. At the very top, this is the percentage of U.S. households receiving SNAP benefits. The number one, the highest percentage is not even American citizens. It's Afghan citizens. Then it's 45% of all the Afghan citizens in the United States are receiving SNAP benefits. Think about that. Next one is Somali. 42% of all the Somalians here in the United States are receiving SNAP benefits. Iraqi, Dominican, Caribbean. Then we move into the native, the Americans. Then Puerto Rican, Cuban, Black Americans. And then it keeps going down. But you can see in this list, do you not see that this is the Democrats' voter base? Look at how many people that are not even Americans are the most highest recipients of our benefits as taxpayer benefits in this country. Got another chart to show you. Of any welfare, look at this. 59% of all the illegals here that we know of, 59% of them receive any type of welfare. 52% of legal immigrants here in the United States receive any type of welfare, whether it's cash, food, Medicaid, housing. And then 39% of Americans receive some form of welfare, whether it's cash, food, Medicaid, or housing. So again, when we're showing you this data, this is from cis.org. The majority of our taxpayer dollars doesn't even go to our own citizens here in the United States. Take that and tell me where we are wrong, because I'm sick and tired of America last policies, and I'm showing you right here in black and white, in showing you the numbers. You can go fact check me. I'm sick of it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Mike Sobczynski, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said Jesus place number one. Our governor died last. Now I do not trust our government. Show Mike Sobczynski some love in the chat. And Deborah James said it should be mandatory. Every voter has to be verified to be a legitimate American. Amen. Thank you so much. Starch Manning for the super chat. He said, why didn't MAGA win any court cases regarding 2020 election? Because I looked into that deeply. The dang judges wouldn't even proceed further with any of those cases because they were already afraid of what Biden administration would do. It was a complete rigged system. And thank you so much, Lori Rapier with the super chat. Said God is on the move. A breakthrough is coming. Remember, with God we win. Amen. Show Lori, Starch, Deborah, James, and our boy Mike Sobczynski some love in the chat. I'm telling you, everybody, what we show here is always wanting to bring the receipts. Because again, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Think about this, and I don't know how many people say this. It doesn't matter at the end of the day unless it is factual. Unless you can actually say, okay, guess what? This is what's going on. And right now, I just showed you the majority of welfare in the United States doesn't even go to our own citizens. Look at this. Look at this chart of all the different countries of people here that are receiving our benefits, taxpayer benefits. This is the Democratic voter base because they always, overwhelmingly, 80-90% win the minority vote. This is why this is, let me refresh this. This is so important that we show you because I want to move into our sponsor real quick. When 3 national health insurance companies and 3 brokers are being investigated by the DOJ for alleging unlawful kickbacks and discrimination against our own Americans, that's when I say we have to work together. We have to partner together. If you're on Medicare, and if you have not called them yet, listen to me right now. They compare every single Medicare plan. It's free, everybody, and I wouldn't be doing this if it didn't bring the most value to you. 667-895-3015 is their number. They compare every single Medicare plan, and it matters because I'm telling you what, they've saved seniors on average $1,100 a year. And right here, this is stuff that a lot of people don't know. You can go Google this yourself. How many Medicare plans are there in the U.S.? Look, 3,719 Medicare Advantage plans. Are you kidding me? Why is there so much? Because with the government, you know they always like to make things complex so they can hire more people. It's a joke. I want to show you even too, this is from Grok, this is from X. 3,719 Medicare Advantage plans. Most people, 99.9% of people don't have the software to be able to figure out what is the best and make sure you get the best plans. That's why Chapter does it. It's free. They do a great job. They save people on this channel hundreds and hundreds of dollars, even over thousands of dollars, and it matters. You call them up, you tell them Joel sent you from TrueLife News. They're going to take care of you. The number is 667-895-3015, or you can go to the website in the description. I'm sick and tired of, again, our own taxpayer money not actually going to our own citizens. Just imagine how much money we would save if we're more America first. Listen to this.
Going to win. You saw him last night. I think it was in Forest Hills, 13, 14, 15,000 people. You know, Bernie Sanders is kissing the ring. AOC's kissing the ring. The governor tried to kiss the ring. Of course, they basically booed her off the stage because she's not radical. First of all, she's totally incompetent. But number 2, she's not radical enough for him. So it's coming. It's coming. And why, you know, the Israel First crowd, as I warned them, have done nothing but focus on their problem coming from Tehran, which is not the problem. Their problems in London, the streets of London, and in New York City. Oh, by the way, 38% of the Jewish voters in Manhattan are going to vote for Mandami. Think about that for a second. So we have a massive, massive problem that's going to be visited upon the United States on the 4th of November. And if you think, oh, he's a socialist, he's going to run out of money, it's the best thing that could ever happen. All the conservatives and bow ties that are telling you that are morons. These guys are Bolsheviks. They're not socialists. They're Bolshevik. They're Bolshevik jihadists. Think of that combo platter. Once they seize control of the apparatus in New York, they're not giving up. You're going to have to take a trenching tool and get them out. Now, I think there's a couple ways to do it in advance. Number 1, his citizenship's totally illegal.
Right there, everybody.
Andy Ogles and others in Congress are waking up to this fact, but you got to wake up to the fact in DHS. He's got to be denaturalized because his naturalization process was fouled. He's got to be sent out of the country. Also, Randy Fine, who's probably the most, brutal or, out there Israel First guy, he's put a great proposal up to Congress. You can't have dual citizenship. You can't have dual citizenship and be in Congress. Randy Fine lays it out. He says you got to have allegiance to one country or another.
Yes.
And that's for any country. I got a better one. I'll see you and raise you, Randy. Should be no dual citizenship in the United States of America. You have to pledge allegiance to one nation. You pick them. I don't care which one you pick. It's your call. But if it's to the United States of America, it's then to the United States of America. We can't have people here with dual loyalties, dual allegiances. It does not work like that. And you're seeing this now all over the place, particularly the rising tide, what you see in Portland, what you see in Chicago, what you see in Los Angeles. What you're seeing is not native-born Americans who have no allegiance to this country that are voting in jihadist Marxists into office. If you think this is going to be reversed easily, you are incorrect. Mark Mitchell, you've done some amazing polling on all this, and the tech bros all sit there and think they sit there and just tell us, oh, it's all going to be fine. We're going to live in an era of abundance. It's abundance for them, but it's red in tooth and claw for everybody else. Your thoughts are particularly on Mandami and what he represents when he comes to power. No, Mark Mitchell?
Let me tell you this, everybody. Right here, Randy Fine officially pushes to start the denaturalization process of Zohran Mamdani, so he may be deported along with the foreigners who might be fraudulently become citizens. Again, he's only been here 6 years. He's naturally from Uganda, and he's bringing just pure socialistic ideologies to New York. If you appreciate what we're doing, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. I'm telling you, everybody, what we're seeing is just mind-blowing. This is their mentality. And I love what Margaret Thatcher said. The problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. But this is what the Dem socialists say. Tax the rich, tax the rich. Guys, let me tell you this. The whole setup in the United States with the tax code is the way it's been for a long, long time. And you've had Democratic for Congress, for Senate, and for the president. And guess what? They still didn't change it. Why? Because they know that this stuff doesn't work. They know that capitalism is the best that we've had so far out of everything we've ever done in the history of humankind. But right now, we have a person who is holding the United States hostage. I love it because we're hearing people say the quiet part out loud. Listen to this.
It's because Chuck Schumer, he wants to cause as much pain as he can. He's got to appease that far-left Marxist base. It's going to win the once great city of New York, the mayor's race there, an anti-Semitic person, communist, to say the least. And that's who he's got to appease. He sees AOC creeping up behind him, and he knows if she announces tomorrow she will have that. That is no longer Chuck Schumer's base. Chuck Schumer's probably not a communist. He's probably just a far lefty. And he realizes that, so he's got to have that base, and he's going to cause the country to suffer. And shame on the Democrat Party, because in the past, Schumer could just put out something. It didn't have to be the truth, but you know, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, all the cluckheads on The View, they just mimic what he said, and every single Democrat could hide behind Chuck Schumer's skirt. Well, thank goodness for Fox News and a few others, and these podcasters that are they're putting the truth out, because America realized that's a lie. I have a lady that married to a buddy of mine, and she'll drunk text me about every night. She gets in her wine, and she's blaming everything on Trump. And she's an educated lady. I went through school with her. And she tells me that this is all the Republicans' fault. And then when I explained to her, the Republicans only have 53 votes in the Senate. They need 60. Then she says, oh, I didn't realize that. These are educated people. We need to make sure we're messaging that, Kevin. And thank you so much for bringing this topic up, because the Democrats do not care about poor people. All they care about is power. That's what you see in Washington, and frankly, both parties a lot of times. It's about power and control. Donald Trump understands that. He said he'll negotiate. Just open the dadgum government. How easy is that? All you need is 4 or 5 more Democrats in the Senate to cross over with Fetterman and a few of those that have the guts to do something. But instead, no. They want America to suffer, and they're still drawing their paychecks every dadgum.
You hear that? They don't care. You heard that Democratic person say it. I'm not giving up my paycheck. No, everybody else, every federal worker losing their paycheck, but a lot of Republicans, and I say honorably, are saying no. If they're not getting paid, I'm not getting paid, and I love that. That is a sign of actually having some integrity and dignity. But yet, when you hear Democrats say it, they don't care. All they want is theirs. And I want you to see this too, because I'm telling you, this is being reported so big right now because we're finding too much fraud. Listen to this.
Donald Trump will be deploying election monitors into blue jurisdictions, and the response from Democrats is that he is rigging the elections. I love the argument. The DOJ is going to send people to monitor. They can't do anything else, and that's rigging an election. Let me just stress this one more time for you guys. By sheer virtue of observing their election practice, he is changing the outcome of the election. What's the argument? That were it not for us watching how they're doing things, they would win? It sounds like Democrats have rigged their elections, and the thought of someone making sure they didn't is interfering with their election process. There is something kind of funny when you look at the Constitution and how it prescribes federal elections. The state legislature determine how these elections will take place. And in the event a state decides to rig their election process, then, so long as it's not like overt rigging, they can structure elections in such a way that make it impossible for their enemies to win. Well, now with election monitors being deployed, and likely, in my opinion, National Guard throughout the next year, Democrats are fearful they won't win. Here's my bet. Democrats largely won through ballot harvesting. Many of these states, most states, it's legal to ballot harvest. That means you go to someone's house, you knock on the door and say, hey, I'll take your mail-in vote for you and go drop it off. That's why they want universal mail-in voting.
And just remember, I showed you earlier of how many, even in a lot of these counties, sheriffs are coming out and saying, guess what? We just found more voters that are voting outside of their districts, voting multiple times, voting from other countries outside of the United States, even like Pakistan. We have literally law enforcement that are saying this, but yet the Democrats keep saying what? That it doesn't happen. They rigged it. We're catching them. I'm telling you, the 2026 midterms and 2028 presidential election are going to be so red when this happens. Because when you actually have free, fair elections, you start to learn that, guess what? Especially whenever it comes to all the ballot harvesting stuff, that the minority of all these crazy ideologies is a smaller percentage of the population than we could ever imagine.
Regular people who don't vote will fill it out. Someone knocks on their door and says, I'll take it for you. Now, in many of these locations, there's a limit on how many ballots you are allowed to harvest. Some, there's no limit. They go to nursing homes and collect ballots. Well, what happens when a guy pulls up to a ballot box and he's got 500 ballots, but there's an observer standing there with the DOJ? You can't drop him off. So what do? Nothing. You lose. And that's what they're really worried about, at least in my opinion.
I'm telling you, and again, too, this whole government shutdown is exposing so much what you're about to hear next, because again, it's so apparent right now, more than ever, more than we've ever seen it before, of how much they are willing to spite true American citizens to try to help out the minorities. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
Well, good morning, everyone. We're now on day 27 of the Democrat shutdown, and we want to review with you a few pertinent facts and explain a little bit about some of the really painful things that are going on around the country. We're delighted to be joined by our dear friend, Kelly Loeffler, former U.S. Senator and now the leader of the U.S. Small Business Administration, and she can speak specifically to some of the great hardships that are being felt by the people who provide jobs now around this country. Day 27 means it's almost been a full month since the Democrats shut down the government. And as we near the end of this month, the pain being felt by so many hardworking people around this country is very real, and it gets worse with each passing day. Here's some of the stats. Last week, 1.4 million federal workers missed a full paycheck. Now, you know, many of them are furloughed, and many more are deemed essential workers, those who are essential, for example, to keep the country safe. TSA agents we've discussed, and air traffic controllers and border patrol, and of course our troops. But so many of them now are going without pay. The families of military service members and the air traffic controllers and so many of these others are now at very real risk of missing the paycheck at the end of this month. The Trump administration has done everything possible to bend over backwards to try to find sources of funding within the federal government to be able to cover the bases, but it is getting more and more challenging with each day. Now, every Republican in Congress wants to stop this madness desperately. And we have voted many times, over a dozen times, collectively 13 times, to reopen the government, to keep it open and reopen it once the Democrats closed it. But here's the very simple and important fact that no one should forget. We have no ability. Republicans do not have the ability to do this on our own. It's a simple math problem. We need Democrats to help. You need 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans. The Democrats are the ones voting repeatedly to shut down the government. But they're not opening it back up. They spent most of their time trying to distract the American people from the very simple truth. So I brought you a little visual aid here to just remind everybody what the simple facts are. 4 simple facts here. The Democrats are required to open the government. They keep saying Republicans are in charge of government. We aren't, not in the Senate. 60 votes control the Senate, not a bare majority. And so point number 1, Democrat votes are required to open the government. Point number 2, they refuse to do it. They have now voted 12 times to keep the government closed. And they'll have another chance today or tomorrow, maybe multiple times this week, and we'll see what they do. Now, the third point is very important because they've been trying to confuse the American people. They've tried to say this is a fight about health care or this or that or any other thing, and it's very simple. They put this on paper. They made this their demand in writing in the record of the Senate, and it has not changed. These are just 4 subpoints there under fact number 3, but there's many more. But among the things they're demanding, this is what the Democrats in the Senate are demanding to reopen the government. They want to give $200 billion in health benefits to illegal aliens and non-citizens paid for by U.S. taxpayers. That is in their proposal.
Wow.
They want billions in wasteful programs to be returned to foreign countries. So we stopped these things. They want to turn it all back on. They're demanding that we do all that to get the government open for hardworking Americans.
And I want to show you this too, because this is why this is so important. That Indiana governor has just formally called for the special session to redistrict the state for the 2026 midterms, and that this has a potential to add an additional 2 seats to the MAGA party, helping to aid in the red wave that is coming. I'm telling you, everybody, this is massive because, again, bring in the receipts. When Western Union reports that fewer U.S. dollars are being sent home by migrants, we're doing something right. We want to keep our money here. We want to keep the economy growing here. We want, especially, that's why the tariff revenue is so important, because it helps to grow our economy here. Dang Democrats are trying to, give benefits here and then send the money elsewhere around the world. Very globalist, one world ideologies. But I appreciate that we're bringing the receipts because, again, people have no idea this is actually happening. Tracy DeCambre, member of the channel, let's go with the super chat, said it's so sad that many seniors and vets will go without their SNAP. California needs voter ID, no dual citizenship. Amen. For America, need a red wave. Love you, Joe, in this community. We love you too, Tracy. Show Tracy some love in the chat. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you so much. Again, that we are going to have multiple votes. And I asked you in the chat right now, with the poll that we have going, it is insane that over 1,400 votes have been cast, and 38%, the majority of people think that this shutdown is going to last over a month. That's nuts.
Again, they want to give $500 million to left-leaning news organizations, and they want to cut $50 billion from rural hospitals. We will not do those things, and they know that very well. Which leads us to point number 4. The Democrats have now openly admitted, and you all had to cover it last week, that they're using the pain of the American people as their leverage. That was the number 2 ranked Democrat in the House, the Democrat, the minority whip, who said that, acknowledged it in an interview, that this is leverage. And Chuck Schumer himself boasted that every day of the shutdown gets better for us. That's his now infamous quote that he wishes he had not said out loud. But you know what they're doing and why. Why are they demanding these things? Why is point number 3 so essential to them? Why would they do this? Because it's unprecedented, as we've noticed, and reminded you all, they voted for CRs every time it was possible in their lives, as recently as March of this year. But they're doing it to appease their far-left Marxist base. That's the headline. That's why. That's why we're all in this mess. That's why the American people are suffering pain, because the Democrats are more afraid of the Marxists in their base than they are of hardworking Americans. See, they've made an evaluation that they have to appease the Marxist base, that they're so concerned that they'll lose their jobs if they don't appease the far left in their party. And they sat in a back room and they made the calculation that they would rather shut the government down and impose all this pain on the American people, because they believe the Marxists, the far left in the base, are more active than hardworking Americans, people who go vote.
Let me tell you this, guys. You know, we are showing you some dang stuff you don't see on mainstream media when we show you this is what Democrats are doing. They're having meditation, I don't even know what you call it, outside of ICE facilities, telling them they're trying to bring in the good energy that no people will be deported. Like, this is happening, guys. You can't make this stuff up. I don't know if these people got a job. I don't know what they do for a living, but all I know is that if you got time to do this, and this is where you're at, like, something's wrong, everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying that common sense, we got to get back to common sense, okay? There's too much of this craziness. And again, the stuff that we're hearing now, it's insane. Listen to this.
You do to support small businesses, to really epitomize the backbone of our economy. And Administrator Loeffler, thank you for coming and for what you're doing to help small businesses grow in every corner of this country. Unfortunately, as Administrator Loeffler pointed out, those small businesses are struggling like millions of families all across America. Why? So that the Democrats can get leverage. Who knows who they want leverage over? They can't articulate it. They've laid out $1.5 trillion wish list of crazy items like giving taxpayer-funded health care to illegals. In their bill to give that taxpayer funding to illegals, they actually gut rural health care. Democrats gut $50 billion out of rural health care. They want to talk about health care? They're the ones making it harder. And of course, they don't want anybody to remember facts. Facts like when we moved the working families tax cut through this Congress. Unfortunately, not a single Democrat wanted to support that because it involved preventing a tax increase. The party that's now gone all the way over, full bore into socialism. As the speaker talked about, Hakeem Jeffries is now all in for the socialist agenda of Mondami. He is the head of their party now. And
I'm going to show you in just a moment, everybody, how bad the Democrats have it right now, how far behind they are on their money that they're raising in just a moment. And people are seeing through their lies. They're seeing through all this fakeness, the gaslighting, and we're exposing them all. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. This is big.
Elected mayor of New York. He's given the marching orders to the rest of the Democrats. And they want to raise taxes on everybody. They call you rich. Anybody who works for a living is going to be rich, and they're going to raise your taxes to get government-run grocery stores and the lunacy that comes with that. That's the Democrat agenda. It's not about improving health care because, again, in their own alternative bill, they want to gut rural health care. You know what else they work to do? In the working families tax cut, we had a provision that would have lowered premiums by 11%. According to CBO, it was scored to lower premiums on families. It's called CSR. You can go look it up. It's something that has been out there as an idea for a long time. We actually put it into bill language and text and passed it through the House. But Democrats went and used a parliamentary maneuver under the Byrd rule to get that removed because they don't care about families. They don't care that that provision would have absolutely lowered premiums by double digits for families who are paying too much for health care. And then not only did they get it removed, Democrats in the Senate bragged, still to this day on their website, bragged that they removed it. They want to tell you it's about health care. It's not. They really told you what it's about. It's about getting leverage, showing off to their radical Marxist socialist base that they're fighting Donald Trump because they're still angry about the results of the November election. And in the meantime, real families are struggling. Every day the number grows higher. Yesterday, Senator Gallego went on to meet the press. And he was asked when Democrats would reopen the government. And he said, quote, "I'm not looking at a timetable. I'm looking at everyone's personal pocketbooks." Now, Senator Gallego, you ought to be looking at the pocketbooks of those single moms who right now are facing losing their WIC payments, facing losing their SNAP payments. And if Senator Gallego's not sure how many people that is, we've been told by the administration how many people will stand to lose real benefits, SNAP benefits, food stamps for kids. 42 million people will lose those benefits in just a few days.
And I want to show you this, everybody, because this is gaining a lot of steam right here. A lot of these SNAP benefits, EBT, all this stuff recipients are going for this mass blackout. I'm not going to play it again, too, because, again, guys, just too much cussing. I don't do that on this channel. But this is what the mass blackout is supposed to be, November 25th through December 2nd. No work, no spending, no restaurants. A lot of people are going online saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do it together. There's a lot of them even saying we're going to go and steal from Walmart and Target and all these places because if we don't get what we want, then we're just going to take it. They can't arrest all of us. They can't catch all of us. And it's just like, that mentality blows my mind. 42 million people. And you got to think, okay, how much percentage of those 42 million are actually like seniors over 60 years and over? 13%. How much of those are children and whatnot? And then it gets really a lot higher, 45, almost 50%. But then you got to think about, do we drug test for SNAP benefits, for EBT benefits? No. A lot of these things, like we created our own problems where we literally have people that live on government subsidies. And we showed yesterday in yesterday's video where a family of 4, a mom and 3 kids in like Washington, D.C., with all the benefits that they can get, literally receive about $120,000 worth of government benefits. Now you tell me, if a person doesn't have to work, doesn't have to do anything, gets these cash cards, all this stuff, you think that they're really going to go want to work and like everybody else? Heck no. We created our own problem, but right here, what you're about to see next is that MAGA's taking back over and the Dems are hurting big. Look at this.
Less money, more problems. That's what the Democrats are dealing with, as cash on hand is running pretty low, well behind that of the GOP. Donors see the party splitting apart in front of their own eyes. They have no leader, no message, no direction, except maybe socialism, quasi-communism. It's keeping donors on the sidelines and their wallets, well, closed tightly shut. Turns out socialism doesn't really sell to the people with the money, and the DNC is still paying off the debt from Kamala Harris's disastrous campaign. They just shelled out $1.6 million in September, bringing the total payout to that campaign to more than $20 million so far. The numbers, here are the numbers, $86 million in cash for the Republican National Committee compared to 12 for the Democrats. The most recent haul for the month was $10.7 million for the RNC, $10.3 million for the DNC. And I will shut up, but I have to say this. The DNC reached out to big donors to host a San Francisco area fundraiser headlined by candidate, former VP Kamala Harris. Most of the donors rejected the request.
Wow. No, that's what a winning pitch, though. Come see the failed Democratic candidate again, so she can embarrass herself again. Yeah, no, I mean, the fact is there's a battle royale going on right now between the Democratic establishment and the progressive new upstarts. And you can understand why donors are confused. Who do we give our money to? who do we support? Because the Democratic leadership has been very schizophrenic themselves about who to pass the baton to, who to give the blessing to. A microcosm of this is in Maine in the Senate race, where the governor, Janet Mills, is running to replace Susan Collins, a very normal, independent thinking, sort of moderate in the state. And Schumer's backing Janet Mills, and Bernie Sanders, the socialist, is backing this progressive new guy who has a very left record, and he also was recently accused of having a Nazi insignia for a tattoo. So this is the utter state of the Democratic Party. And as a donor, I think most donors are not dumb. They know.
Also lack of having somebody better to put forward than Kamala Harris, who lost the election. And one of the times that Kevin O'Leary was here, we were talking about Kamala and her book and how she lit some matches, blew things up on fire.
Wow.
And, created a bad situation. Kevin's point was that the donors are not going to come back for that. That is not a good look for the Democrat Party.
Let me tell you this, everybody, because again, they asked Trump in the gaggle on Air Force One, third term, what does he think? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Put it in the chat, in the comments. What would you rather be in favor for? Vance 2028 or Trump 2028? Listen to this.
One theory on how you might try to serve a third term is that you could run as the vice president.
Yeah, I'd be allowed to do that.
Is it the White House or the White House counsels or your legal position?
No, you'd be allowed to do that, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it. And I think it's too cute. Yeah, I would rule that out because it's too cute. I think the people wouldn't like that. It's too cute. It's not. It wouldn't be right.
They asked him. He's like, I can run as the vice president, and then the president steps down, and I'd be president again. But he said that's not right, and that's what I love is just being transparent. They're always going to try to say some certain things, but there is some perspective optics you want to make sure always stay right.
I said, well, why is she doing that then? And he said to sell books.
Is there a silver lining in this for Democrats, though, that their donors are not chucking money after just anybody? Like they're becoming more discerning. So they're saying, we have nobody to back, therefore we're not going to back anybody until somebody emerges who we think we can back. I mean, comparing it to like the $1 billion they spent on Kamala Harris, which was like lighting stuff on fire, basically. Not a good thing to do.
But these donors actually do have money to burn.
Right.
But they're not burning it. That's
which
probably
means it's a confidence
sign.
gap, not a cash gap, right?
Right,
They have
but
no
I
confidence,
don't-
so they're not voting with their dollars.
I don't know how not depriving these losers of funds converts anyone to being a winner. Does that make sense?
But it forces new candidates, though, right? I think Brian's point is that if you starve them out from the cash side, then you're forced to elect new candidates and put up new candidates that actually can instill confidence in the donor base to give money. I mean, Wall Street is not going to give money to socialists. 57% of donations from Wall Street go to Democrats.
The donor class is absolutely the worst group of people, left, right, and center, at picking candidates. Look at President Trump and how he was able to win 2 presidential elections with a fundraising disadvantage. I have sat at tables with big money people, like once in a eon, I will be at like some fundraiser, and they are terrible at picking candidates. They will get in the face of just nobodies and tell them, you're going to be the next president of the United States, and here I'm going to give you all this money. And you have to...
It's all about the control. They want to pick people that they can control. Can't control Trump. Why do you think they hated him so much? Again, Democratic Party, if it wasn't for free speech, y'all, just think about it like this. If it wasn't for people like me and others who are able to show you things you don't see on mainstream media, show you the facts that you wouldn't, there's so much we wouldn't know, but it is because of this that, again, the elitists are losing because the voice of us is greater than them.
Disabuse them of that. I'm like, you literally are throwing money at someone who has no ground game and are terrible retail politicians.
I mean, that may be the case, but if you think Democrats have no leaders, you're probably happy that somebody's not funding a non-leader to the point where they're going to get on a ticket and run and lose.
right? Don't you want to? So, I mean, I'm not cheering for them to get this right. I'm just saying they lit a lot of money on fire for Kamala Harris, and maybe they got burned, at least temporarily.
I think it's just telling that they're holding back because there's a lot of, let's use the investing analogy. There's a lot of good money that gets thrown after bad investments, and because people have it, it's at their disposal. You're seeing donors that have money that have been historically contributing to these campaigns that are holding it back. That's more telling
But
than
they
anything.
want to win. They want to win so that they have power because they were the one that backed the candidate. If you have a track record of losing, that's just setting money on fire.
But to Dagan's point,
no one wants to do that.
That's true. But I think you're right about, like, for instance, Zohran Mamdani in New York City. He's gotten plenty of money, don't get me wrong, but he also is very creative and kind of innovated his way out of maybe maybe he didn't get the most funding he wanted. So instead, he just did Soviet-era graphic design that Gen Z kids really loved, and it went viral, and now he's doing man-on-the-street interviews. All of that is pretty low cost, and it hit a lot of hearts and minds.
Yeah, and he had a lot of money from outside of New York City, so there are people around the country willing to send money to somebody when they think they're not a loser candidate. I mean, if you like left-wing causes, he's the guy who does left-wing better than anybody else. You sent them money.
You mentioned Plattner with the oopsie, I accidentally got a Nazi tattoo when I was in the military. And then...
Let me tell you this. You can't make up, again, the stuff that we expose. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is massive, everybody. Tracy DeCambre, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said America's wakes up, Trump 2028, second Vance, number one. Amen. Show Tracy some love in the chat. You know that things are shifting, everybody, because everybody is starting to get more center, more center. You're always going to have far left. You're always going to have far right. But whenever you have people that are shifting to the center, that's whenever we win. Everybody wins. Listen to this.
As you acknowledged, this all started because of redistricting in Texas, and this was Trump pushing Republican-controlled states to throw out their current congressional maps so as to cook the books, so that it is less likely for Democrats to retake control of the House during the next year midterms. I mean, is it fair to argue that do you believe that the Republican Party is starting this?
No, Jake. There has been gerrymandering going on for 200 years. There is such extreme gerrymandering going on that in a state like Massachusetts, it has like 40% of the people voting for Trump. They have 0 representatives. The Republican Party has 0 representatives sent to the House. Think about that. In New Mexico, if 45% of the people voted for Trump and voted Republican, and 0 is sent to the House, 0 representative from the Republican Party. So there's gerrymandering, crazy gerrymandering going on all over the country, and we wanted to try to stop it in California, and we did stop it in California, and we went around the country. So I think this whole thing about finger pointing and saying they did it, so therefore we should doing it, that's not really the way to go. The one party should outperform the other party. It should be performance. And when it comes to midterm elections, as you know, always the party that is not in the White House usually wins by 20, 25, 30 seats. So what does 5 seats matter in the first place in Texas? It is crazy. We should outperform them. That is where the action is.
Again, everybody, people are coming to the center, and when we show you this type of stuff, what I love is that it keeps popping up. Now, look at this. The country's largest federal workers union just demanded Chuck Schumer and Democrats reopen the government by passing the Republican Clean CR. They represent nearly 1 million workers. This is massive. Thank you so much, Anna Diaz, for the super chat. Let's go. Show Anna some love in the chat. Member of the channel. OG as well said, love that the Democrats are digging a hole so deep they won't be able to get out and never win again. Amen. I love it. Show Anna some love in the chat, as well as Ruby Bunch. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said, people, please check on your seniors and disabled before and after November 1st. They will be the target for theft also. Oh, that's a good point. Show Ruby some love in the chat. Show Anna some love in the chat. OG of the channel. Thank y'all so much for your support. Because again, too, I'm telling you, there's going to be a new party that I feel like is going to come out in the next 5 to 10 years, because the majority of America is not going to have the Democrats anymore. Listen to this, because again, shifting towards the center.
Shutdown drags on. The vote to pay military and essential workers broke down like this: 54 yes, 45 no. Just 3 Democrats joined Republicans in voting to pay furloughed workers. And Senator John Fetterman was quick to point out, I'm a Democrat, I voted yes. Senator Fetterman has been one of the clearest voices in calling for an end to the shutdown, analogizing the situation to Groundhog Day.
Are you surprised that vote after vote, it's just been 3 Democrats time and again who voted for this bill? Does that surprise you?
Yeah, it's Groundhog Day, you know, and I'm just saying, and it's not entertaining. That's a great movie, but this is
Senator Fetterman joins me now. Senator, an honor to have you. That clip was from Tuesday, and you said you weren't surprised by the continual votes by your party to not reopen the government. But were you surprised when the vote came on Thursday to pay military, to pay furloughed workers, and you were just one of 3 Democrats saying, let's pay these essential workers?
I mean, I'm not surprised when they, I do believe that there's a critical mass of my fellow Democrats that are dug in, and now until there's an absolute ironclad kind of a deal, and I do fundamentally believe Leader Thune is an honorable guy, and I do believe we could have a sincere conversation, you know, after we can open it up, and then we don't have to do this 3-card Monty about, you know, do this, do that, do the other thing. Let's just open it up, and then we have our SNAP, you know, we have everyone's paid, and then we can have that conversation to see if we can extend those tax credit deals, because I do believe there are enough Republicans that would like to see that too. And now for me, I don't check. It's like, are we winning? Are we losing? And the thing, it's like, because I guarantee America is losing in this place right now.
You know, no doubt America's losing in this, Senator. And I wonder, you know, you're in the halls of Congress. You are in some of these meetings with fellow Democrats. And do you hear privately some of your Democratic colleagues saying, we got to end this thing?
Well, I mean, I just know that 2 things must be true in this situation right now. You know, SNAP depends on 2 million Pennsylvanians to feed themselves, and I believe it's about 40 million Americans across the nation. That's a big deal right now. And now we all realize that a lot of the premiums are going to go up, and we might want to address that too. We can support those 2 things, but I think it's fundamentally wrong regardless to shut our government down for those things. You know, the Republican side has their priorities. We have our priorities. You know, I think we have to agree that our government must be open.
And you think it's time for Republicans to nuke the filibuster and end this thing?
I mean, I think I've broached that before. I think it's entirely appropriate. And I would remind, you know, all of us, the Democrats, we wanted to nuke the entire filibuster. You know, I'm referring to right now carving out this specific right now. I'm not talking about eliminating the entire filibuster. It's really not much different than about the en bloc kind of nominees. And I think that was appropriate to do that in that situation as well, too. And carving it out the filibuster now would make it almost impossible to shut our government down in the future, regardless if it's the Democrats or the Republicans doing these things. We should remove ourselves our power to shut this down in this way.
Senator Fetterman, you know, I want to talk to you about the ideological way forward for the Democratic Party, because we've seen this rise of democratic socialism and progressivism. And, you know, I'm wondering, what do you think the ideological path is for your party?
Well, really the party's going to go its own way, but I've been going my way. I'm going to fight for wins in Pennsylvania, and there's issues that I will agree and align with on the Republican side, specifically like Israel, and I celebrated those great peace deal. And I also really very strong that we have to secure our border, and I was the co-sponsor of the Lakin bill as well. And right now, I'm in a minority that I think it's wrong to shut our government down in this situation right now. And now, so for me, and there's things that I strongly believe in too on the Democratic side, but I'm always going to vote country over party. I'm always going to vote for paying for the military over my party and those things, because I think that's what's appropriate right now. The direction where my party's going, I mean, won't see. But I can control my vote and my voice, and that's exactly where I am. and I'm going to call balls and strikes. And it's an easy choice to pick my country over the party, especially in circumstances like this.
Senator,
let me tell you this, everybody. If we aren't just every single day, there's moments where it's just like, wow, it's a breath of fresh air, because everything that we've always thought or they said was a conspiracy theory, now it's like, oh, wow, that's actually true. That's actually true. And again, when they talked about the gerrymandering, they talked about all this stuff happening. Republicans haven't had House seats in 9 states for a total of 158 years. This is why there's redistricting in Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Mexico, Rhode Island, and Vermont for an average of 18 years and a total of 158 years. Over the years, 17 states have had no Republican House members at one point. No representation. That right there is, again, we have a problem and we're working to solve it. If you appreciate what we're bringing, y'all, we're bringing the facts. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Want to say, if you're not subscribed to the family yet, please consider joining our family, hitting the subscribe button so we can take care of you every day with the breaking news. And I want to say thank you again so much to everybody that helps us out. We partner with you when you give a super chat donation or you're a member to donate on the 22nd of every single month live on stream to a local charity. And I'm so thankful because we've literally given so much. And I want to give some special love to Pretty Butterfly Glow. Thank you so much for the super chat. Our boy, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, OG of the channel. Show Mr. Norby some love in the chat. PDX67, Richard, show Richard some love. Jog Haas, thank you so much. Starch Manning, Mike Sobczynski, Deborah James. Thank y'all so much for your support. Our girl, Lori Rapier, OG of the channel as well. Tracy DeCambre, our boy Jim Barbato, OG of the channel. Anna, thank you so much for your support. Show Anna some love in the chat, as well as Ruby Bunge. Show Ruby some love in the chat. Robert Cash, our boy Jim Barbato, again with the gifted super chat. Show them some love in the chat. Thank y'all so much for your support. And we just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts when it comes to partnering with us as we continue to give. I just want to again remind you, everybody, we are growing this voice. We're trying to help you out as much as possible. Right now, it's open enrollment. Medicare right now is open. And again, we've partnered with this company, Chapter. They compare every single Medicare plan, y'all. And there's a lot out there. You can go Google it yourself. 3,719 Medicare Advantage plans. That's a lot. Look, I'll even refresh it. Look. And whenever we show you this stuff and we say, like, look, it's free. You call them up. You tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News, 667-895-3015. They're going to take care of you. They save seniors on average over $1,000 a month. I mean, over $1,000 a year in their health insurance. They've helped out so many across this channel. They've helped out my own family, and I know they can help out you. But again, the link is in the description. The number's in the description. You can call them up, 667-895-3015, and they're going to take care of you just like we do on the breaking news. We thank you so much for sharing our videos on X, Facebook. We love and appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one.